Hi, all you SPMEs out there. Today's question has 3 answers, and you're going to want to stick around because I'm going to tell you the key solution to getting out of the embarrassment trap that we're going to discuss today. So let's get into it. The question that was sent in, or rather the problem that many of my students experience, is you're worried people will laugh at your book. So you're considering, you want to put a book on the market, you've written a book or are working on a book, but you are thinking maybe it's not good enough in terms of the quality is too low, or when somebody reads it, they're not going to like you or what you're doing and end up laughing at exactly what you're doing and saying, well, wasn't that very embarrassing? And that pain of embarrassment is a motivating factor for many people that motivates them to do absolutely nothing. That is, you have this book that you've written and you want to edit it and edit it again and again to make sure that it is perfect, but then it never ever reaches the market because you're so concerned that somebody's going to laugh at the book that you're putting out there. Now, this is very, very common, and that's what we're going to hit in today's video. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like for me to make more videos like this one, and check out below in the description and you can grab a copy of my absolutely free self-publishing checklist to make sure that you are not skipping any of the important steps that are necessary to win at the self-publishing game. So let's get into it. From my story, when I first started, I was interested in putting a book out there, but then I also was worried that maybe the quality of my book would be so low that people would not be interested in buying it, or worse yet, that they would tell me it's terrible or laugh at what I was putting onto the market. And I had to work through this issue, which is, what am I going to do? How perfect does a book need to be in order to get out onto the market? Well, I published the book anyways. I did, of course, edit it and go through a number of revisions to make sure that it was as high of quality as possible. But we published it. And the thing is like everything, you get a mixed reviews that come back. Some people are positive and some people are negative. Virtually most of them were positive. I really didn't see that many negative comments, but there were some negative comments that were coming back. And then you have the next part of it, which is, how do you deal with that? And the thing is, an expert commented that if nobody hates what you're putting out onto the market, then really it's not of any quality, because it should clearly draw lines and take a stand for something that some people will rally around you and other people will shun you and hate what you're putting out there. Now, we're not trying to purposefully draw trolls in towards ourselves, but this is an important issue, which is that if you're not actually taking a standpoint, for me, one of my standpoints here is self-publishing shouldn't have to be so difficult. And that's one of the things that many of my students resonate. Whereas other people, maybe they like the complexities of self-publishing and they would not be my crowd, and they would be negative towards me taking this approach to breaking things down and keeping it simple. And so that would be an exact example of where you would have some people who would be drawn in and other people would be pushed away, and that is completely acceptable. Even if they laugh at you, it is not a problem. The thing is, I look at the negative feedback as positive, and sometimes, because they're not necessarily only trolls, sometimes people actually do find issues, spelling issues or other issues with your books or with other things that you're producing, and you realize that you can learn from that. So with your next books that you're coming out, but I would not suggest going back and continually improving your old books. I would rather say better to come out with a new book than to spend all of your time on old books that were already on the market. So, worried about people will laugh at your book? Well, those people aren't your target audience if they are going to laugh at your book, and so you should not be focusing on them. We're interested in people who are interested in you and what you have to contribute with your book. So those are the people we're going to need to keep our focus on. The other thing is, there's always trolls out there and also people who will get value from your books. So there's 2 different groups. And the trolls, they're going to hate what you put out there anyways. The more trolls you have, the more it shows you're starting to make some traction in the world. People ignore irrelevant people. It's people who are influencers or starting to make traction. They're the ones who start to attract the trolls, and that is completely acceptable. Okay, so that's another key aspect here. And the second group, and this is the most important group, those are the people who actually get value from the books that you're putting out there. If you didn't do it, they would not get that value. And you might be thinking, but aren't there other books that provide the exact same value? And the answer is no. You yourself provide a value that nobody else has the ability to do. And your voice is your voice only, and nobody else is able to compete with that. And that is something that can't be taken away from you, and you have to remember that some people will like it and some people will hate it. But the more we produce, the more people we reach, and that will bring more negatives and more positive towards us. And that is just part of the game. But the secret answer of today is you need to set reasonable standards for yourself. Winning and losing is 80% of the head, is 80% a head game. That is to say, the things that are going inside of your head, they are the things that are going to determine whether you're going to win or lose. And if you allow your fear of people laughing at you with your book that you're releasing onto the market to influence what you choose to do with your time and resources, then you're never going to get it out and you're going to lose at this game. So we have to understand it is about putting our face out there and exposing ourselves to an audience, to the world, and that means the positive and the negative. And if we are getting negatives, it's just a way of telling us here's some things you can improve, or that we've got enough traction that we're actually drawing some negative attention, which is okay, as long as you're not doing something negative to draw that negative attention. But the quality of your books, even a low quality book, can provide value to people on the market. And that is something that a lot of people just simply do not understand. So are you worried about that people may laugh at your book? If you are, write the word yes below in the comments. And if you aren't, write the word no, and that will help me know exactly where you're coming from so I can produce better videos. And check up above me here for more video answers to your self-publishing questions. Thanks.